This is Seymour. Seymour is my new hot composting bin, and it is a hot composting bin that I built using mainly sourced materials from skips and also free material which was given to me in order to build this, as well as material I had available on my allotment already. So all in all, Seymour did not cost me a lot. And in this video, I am going to show you exactly how I went about building it. Something else I will cover is a key lesson I learned in the process of building Seymour. One of the key lessons that I'll actually tell you about now is the fact that these pallets are huge, and therefore I've created a very large bin which is 1 meter squared and will ultimately be capable of holding a ton of compost. However, because of that, with the weight of the materials I've put within Seymour, you do need to make sure that you square off your compost bin to ensure that it is not going to warp and actually open out on the front. In the back, it is well secured and immovable. We've just had Storm Amy, I think she was called, and this has not moved at all, nor did I actually have any issues with anything I'd left on top of here. Another key fact that is now making me very excited is the fact that I filled Seymour up all the way to the brim, and when I came back today, Seymour had actually dropped to there. So all this material that I'm putting in now is new material, but Seymour is already working as I expected him to work, just like those hot composters which cost gazillions of pounds and are outside of my price bracket. So if you are like me and would like to be able to make yourself something similar to this, something that will actually provide you with compost at a faster rate without necessarily keep getting you out of pocket and leaving you slightly more poor than you really want to be, then stick around and see how I did this. Okay, let's go. I'm creating cavity insulation for the compost bin to make it hotter, as hot as I can get it. Just to say, I considered getting another pallet to put in the base to make it more secure, but then I thought over time, with my experience with my shed and the fact that that pallet ended up rotting, I'm better off getting paving stones to sit in the bottom and then Hello guys, hello. I'm bringing you back now. I didn't bring you back before because it was a bit frustrating. This is the first time I'm doing this, and therefore it took me a while to work things out. But let me show you where I'm at with the compost bin. So one of the other allotmenteers has helped me by screwing the sides together. We screwed the top 2 bits, but then I've added extra screws in the bottom. Now I'm following guidance on the size of screws, but the screws, I was told 6 inches is not big enough. You have to put it in at an angle in order to make it work, but it's screwed together. I've got the tiles in. I've got my lining with for extra heat, and so now I'm going to wrap it in the Propest, which is just sitting over here. One of the things I tried to do was to push the Propest underneath the pallets in order that I could protect the wood from the composting material, which would sit within the bin, and in this way ensure that the pallets don't rot as quickly due to constantly being soaked by the fluid coming from the composting. The process of putting this Propest on was actually a lot more difficult than I expected it to be. It is not very malleable, and yet you had to wrap it round the pallets. And then when you try to staple it, the staples were actually going through the material and sitting well within the pallet, however, without holding on to the Propest material itself. So in the end, what I needed to do was to use some feather boards I had in order to, and some screws in order to ensure that the Propest was well secured against the pallets and wasn't going to go anywhere as time went by. Okay, I was meant to stop, but I didn't. And what I need to square off this compost bin, and what that will require is I need to put something across here to hold it, because at the moment it's playing out. And then once I've done that, and probably that's the one thing I'm going to have to spend on, is a little bit of proper wood in order to do my front nicely, because when I fill it with compost, I do not want it to bore out. So I don't think these feather boards will hold it very well, but for now they will do. Hiya, hiya, hiya. It's raining, but I refuse to give up. I am kind of done, except for one little thing to do on my compost bin. I really wanted to get it done, and I really wanted to resolve the issue I had with the warping that was happening, and I have done both. So let me show you what we're looking at. I'm so excited. Even rain will not stop me. And so yeah, let me show you. This is the front, done up with decking board. And what I found was, if I cut a 2.4 meter decking board in two, then it's just about enough to sit correctly on one side, but this side was a little bit too far back and also too narrow. So what I've done instead is I just added an extra spare spare bit of wood to here, and it creates the perfect slot. So now they slot in nicely and quite tightly actually, which is good because it means they're not going to come out easy, and they close off my bin properly. It is Monday, the 29th of September, and we are done with the inside of the compost bin. Behind me is my new compost bin. Can you check it out? It's full. Let me show you properly. I'm just so happy because Mr. came and helped me to fill it quite a bit, and then I've just added a little bit because I added some green material. And guys, if you haven't got a compost bin, my advice to you is get yourself one of these big kahunas, because every time you put something in it, it just sucks it up. I can already feel the heat coming off of there. We have filled the 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter 1 meter cubed compost bin with wood chip. I've got some green material from the garden. My sister happened to bring some grass, and my plot neighbor has just come and mowed his area, so he gave me the grass, so it's layered all the way up. And my advice to anyone who's building one of these bins is use a solid piece of wood for your front. The reason being, when we started to get higher and higher up, I had to help my husband to lift the wheelbarrow up to get the wood chip in. But you need something solid at the front, and also make sure that you square it off, because even if this is in place and holding it quite firmly, it still started to splay a little bit here, so I just had to keep an eye on it and check it. But I think now it's not going to go anywhere. It is done and I am happy with it. For today, I am happy with what I have achieved. I've even added water to the bin, so it's totally and completely soaked through, and hopefully it's going to give me a lot of compost in a year's time. So this time next year, when I'm prepping my beds, I'll be checking the bin to see what I can harvest from it. All right, guys, have a good one.